Hello, and thank you for joining our fireside chats at the European Cardano community. This is our little series, Intentionally Random, where Bjarne and I explore the realms of Cardano from stake pool operators' perspectives. Bjarne's pool has been with Cardano since ITN, and I joined with my pool in late 2022. So when we talk, then he is the Cardano OG, while I am an entrepreneurial new joiner. By the way, I am Marcus, one of the core team members of the European Cardano community. And if you like what we are doing, please consider supporting our individual projects and, of course, Bjarne's tech stake pool. At time of this recording, these are Davide's Rookies game, Ricardo's Web3 user group, and my birth stake pool connected to Larissa Health. You will find the links to our guests and our projects below the video. Now hit the notification bell, give us a thumbs up, and enjoy this session.
You just came back from Japan, and you just mentioned when we rode 36 hours of flight. That's insane. And thank you for being here.
Yeah. It's not like 36 hours of flight. It's total of travel from my basically leaving the hotel in Hiroshima till I arrived home. I had 4 connecting flights. The longest one were 12 hours flying from Tokyo to Qatar. So that's also my longest flight ever. I cannot afford business class, so it's you sitting there.
Getting longer then.
Yeah, just horrible. I really don't like to fly. It's not like I'm afraid of it. It's just it's so cramped. Yeah.
As long as I have my laptop with me, I'm fine. To be honest on this one.
Yeah, I like Qatar. I flew with Qatar Airways, and they are definitely the best though, because they have this huge entertainment system. Thousands of movies you can select from. So that was kind of saved me. I'm kind of used to KLM, and they don't have the best selection of videos. So I have downloaded a bunch of videos to my phone, but I didn't need to use it. So
I saw Ip Man on Emirates back then. So when we went to Sri Lanka, so that was probably parallel to it. So we went to Dubai and then from there to Sri Lanka. So it's probably round about the same. But I think to Japan it's a little bit more, like another 6 hours or so. So yeah. And I was
it's longer
when I got off the flight then. So I cannot imagine how long it was, but it was definitely worth it, I guess, being there in Japan.
Oh, wow. What a country. It's so different from what we are used to in Europe, or my regard in Norway. Just the politeness of the Japanese is astonishing, and also the customs. One of the things I kind of noticed when I first arrived, because I spent my first day in Tokyo alone, just figuring stuff out, looking out, just doing all the tourist traps. And in the escalators, those who don't want to walk up the escalator but just stand there and let the escalator do the job, they always stood on the left side. So every time I was at the metro, if you wanted to run up, you could always do the right side, and there you go. And it was consistent through entire Tokyo. And when I come to Norway, you just go to the shopping mall, you get frustrated every time, because it's like, you had these jackasses standing and blocking the way, and I'm in a hurry.
Yeah,
they're so considerate.
We have that in Germany too. So it's very strict, and we always get made fun of it. I don't know if it's just a Munich thing, but I know I have seen videos, or I don't know, like where it says you gotta stand on the left, and if you walk, you go on the right. To me, it seems logical as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And Japan itself but as you say that, I mean, you've probably been there. I mean, I know you have been on a Cardano workshop, but how was your feeling of crypto in Japan? Did you have any, outside of the workshop, did you have any touch points would you say crypto is there?
Ah.
Did it change the community? Like from a Westerner perspective, I think when we're in Japan, we can do a lot of things wrong, like really, where we think, okay,
Yeah,
that's okay.
definitely. Yeah.
The Japanese would say, no, it's definitely not okay.
They usually do like this, like big cross or this when we fuck up.
And
Yeah. But
would you,
personally, I didn't get this because the tour guide we had was quite good at explaining the customs and how we should do and behave.
okay,
Hmm.
but would you say that the crypto community is different? Like
It
more,
was kind of hard to know when I was at the workshop because most of the people there were Japanese. I met Sebastian
Mhm.
and Adam. I talked to those two, but mostly during the workshop, I was talking to Adam because he was kind of the only English-speaking person there that I could discuss this with.
I saw Saida. I saw Saida was also there, I think. Saida Yoon?
Who?
Saida Yoon? I think he was there too from Socios.
I don't.
So I
I
think I
didn't
saw him
talk
in
to
the
him.
background of one of your photos.
Mm.
So he's planning to come to Europe as well.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
and he is
Yeah.
a really cool guy. Like him a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, how was it? What was the workshop about?
No, it was for SIP 1694. Adam had a really good introduction. I knew most of it before, like how the mechanics and everything works, because I've been to a workshop before and also read the the white paper.
Mhm.
Um,
I should stop you at that moment.
yeah. No, it's really good, and we also went through like a more like a post-it note session where we write down ideas on certain topics and come with suggestions, and then we vote them. It was quite similar to what we did in the workshop in Norway last year. I learned something new because we have been discussing like what should be the incentive of the DRAP. Should he get paid like SBO? Should he kind of set some kind of fees for delegating or so on? And for now, it seems like there won't be anything to start with. Remember, SIP 1694 is a minimum viable governance, so implementing mechanisms for rewarding the DRAP it doesn't seem to be going to be implemented this round. I think they want to see if it's necessary, and the sorry the DRAP will hopefully have an incentive of
Great things.
contributing for better good for the Cardano ecosystem.
I think it's mostly OGs that are interested in that
Yeah.
position. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and I
definitely.
think also it can be quite good, and also I think it's important that most of the OGs will do it because they know the history, they know the issues we had, and they know what should be done to improve. Um, but more importantly, they also know the consequences of alternating different parameters and so on.
Did you continue the discussion whether SBOs should function as DRAPs or not?
No, we didn't talk much about it, but it will happen, definitely. For my part, I have been thinking of becoming a DRAP myself. But now, lately, I've been thinking, okay, maybe not, because if you're SBO, you can basically vote twice on certain topics, which isn't that good. So I think maybe to start, I will try and delegate to someone. But if I can't find a DRAP that shares my own opinions, then I might just create my own. and delegate my ADA to this DREP, and you can also choose to just keep it private, this DREP. So yeah, people can delegate to you, but they won't know who you are, because you can register a DREP, but you don't need to add the metadata that says who you are. So it would be like, yeah, you have private pools, you have also private DREPs.
I think that's a good stance to consider both parts.
Yeah, I think so.
I personally, I think I would hold off, because there's a lot of things to take in, and you have to be constantly involved. And I think if you, from what I understand, your passion is the SPO, and it's the on-chain or the chain evolvement in as constitutional parts and shaping that kind of future. I think it's very interesting from my perspective, but I want to build a business on it, and yeah, it would be probably wise to co-shape with it, but I would the time for it. My contribution is more from Mayor is more from the from ECC moderation side. So I would probably not be available for that position, despite the influence that you have is bigger as well, right? But
yeah, and also running running a staking pool on Cardano, it does require some technical knowledge, but once you have kind of spun up the pool, it just tends to keep running by itself. Might be some hiccups when you need to update to a new version of the Cardano node, and you need to then you need to update some config files and so on. But all in all, it doesn't require that much of technical knowledge. So an SPO doesn't need to be like hugely technical and knows everything about the protocol and so on. But at DREP, this person should definitely have a much larger technical knowledge about the Cardano protocol than a SPO really needs to be.
Yeah,
and that's also something I hope that the DREPs, that those who register as a DREP, actually has.
and not only that, also the matureness to not abuse this position into it's policy, it's politics, but it should be politics in favor of the chain, I would say. If I watch sidelining the current discussion that I see on Twitter, it's a good discussion that we have that now. I don't know if you followed it over the last week with the marketing and the Cardano girls and so on.
Yeah, I've seen it to some extent, but I haven't.
And this morning,
all in Twitter this last weeks.
That's good. That's good, to be honest. So
yeah,
a lot of drama. But this morning, for example, I saw Ben commenting on Justin Bones when he was saying like that some of the Cardano community have been actually calling his work to get him fired for the comments that he made.
I read that.
That if that is true, then that's so way off.
Yeah,
like that's a cult in that moment. And
yeah, you know, I haven't commented myself, but what annoys me a bit is that you have one jackass in Cardano community calling in and doing this. That's totally wrong. He did that, therefore the entire Cardano community is a cult, and it's toxic. And that annoys me, and I see it all the time, that the actions of a few it's
Yeah.
it's like it's just pulling the entire community down. I think it's shitty that people act like this, and they should act more professionally. But I also am a bit annoyed by the others that pointing the fingers and saying, "Ah, this person did this, therefore the entire community is toxic." And
It's like soccer. I think it's like soccer, where you have the regular fan and then you have the hooligans. And I think what we have it's not like that's gonna sound like a bit cynical, is we have scientific hooligans, right?
yeah,
People that have probably never really read a science paper or a scientific paper and now claim, okay, but Cardano is peer reviewed, right? Based on
yeah,
you um and I had a discussion yesterday with a community member, and he said, yeah, I don't understand it either, why the marketing thing is not working. And my clear opinion on this is Ethereum does know that they have high fees, right? They're not stupid.
mm,
So why should everybody always point their finger at them? And to me, it was, have you ever heard of Alex Becker? He's a YouTuber in gaming, and
no,
he every now and then does some kind of market predictions, right? And he's actually calling it quite good. And I have an idea who triggered him, because in October, November 2021, he was like, sell all your ADA now because it's going to drop. I mean, it did drop, right? So,
mm,
and then some people, like, or the horde, I would say, probably guess, went again, oh no, you don't know what you're talking about, and the usual stuff. And ever since, he's been making fun of the Cardano people that are living in the basement, in their mom's basement. And he's making actually really good jokes, right? No matter if they're true or not, they're beyond the belly line. I think it's below, right? But I actually laugh a lot when I hear those. I'm not taking it personal in this moment, but they're funny. So,
mm,
but these are signals to me that there has been an advocacy that has been so aggressive and so unforgiving towards other chains or other opinions, that it's a self-baked or self-made um, uh, enemy that we created, basically. I mean, there are definitely other reasons as well, right? But
mm,
I think this is a big one, because Alex Becker, for example, he has a quite big following, um, and his videos are funny. They're really funny, but packed with knowledge in that regard. So he's actually helpful to people who are usually aping into things without not thinking about it. And
mm.
so he's kind of wake up call. And our community is very unforgiving, I would say. And if they don't have anything to say, or not everybody, but if I would say they are those people that are not chain agnostic. If they have anything to say, or if they don't know what to say, they're getting aggressive and poking.
Mm.
And that, I think that needs to change, because we have very knowledgeable people, and it's sad that
Yeah, it's
these
hard
people are getting
though.
dragged down.
It's so hard because, well, first of all, I've been in the Cardano community since 2018, and oh, the FUD Cardano's getting, it's a shitstorm day after day, week after week for years. And well, first it's like, when shall they, and shall they ship, and then when smart contracts, Cardano doesn't even have a DEX, and so on. it seems like every time Cardano achieves a new goal where we have basically ended that FUD, there's something new comes. And this has been the mentality for so long now. And I kind of understand that many in the community is becoming unforgiving because we are getting this shitstorm for so long now. And it seems like we can do anything. It's like what Charles said, we could cure cancer and still there will be some kind of FUD after that just keeps on shitting on the community. And
but why care in this case? Why care? If we
I wish I see many community members acting very professionally. I wish more did that because I think we also should care. We cannot just lay back and it's just fun. I think most of the community could be better in challenging the FUD. For example, you look at a post from Max Kaiser saying, Cardano is a scam. That's the basic Bitcoin FUD. Cardano's a scam, that's it. But what I usually do is write a comment saying, okay, how is Cardano a scam? I think that's the best and professional way to answer the FUD is to try and make them elaborate and give like reasons. Okay, why is Cardano a scam? And usually you don't get any answers. So you have this person coming after me that's new into crypto, reading, Cardano's a scam, look at comments and explain why. And there's no answer. Then this person hopefully would think, okay, so maybe this guy calling Cardano a scam is just a liar, or he don't have any reasons to call it a scam. I think that's the best way to do it, and it's very easy.
Yeah.
But also sometimes I also get frustrated and I post a clown emoji.
But that's enough.
I'm not perfect.
But the clown emoji is enough, I would say, enough of aggression, or just to say, yeah, I'm not okay with that. Or elaborating by yourself and saying, okay, if there's not an argument, if there's enough of an argument to work with, then you can counteract. But the way you do it is exactly the right way. But having like 15 to 20 to 40 people hopping on that account and just going into the aggression mode, kill mode, this is not helpful at all. And that's
it's not.
That's what I meant with why care. I mean, Cardano is so beautiful to use. It's so beautiful. I've been, there's two chains currently I would say are really easy to use, and that is Cardano and Binance. Both are smooth and it's a joy. And with Cardano, I just feel so much more secure. And that's enough. That should be enough for the people. And we shouldn't like then get all the like full armed and running out there and slaughter everybody with the flags locked there, right? So it's always going to backfire because it's like those bullies, you know, the bullies that were able to tease you to a point where you completely losing it. And they actually just stand there in the end and say, but I didn't say anything. I just said I don't like it. Why don't you just argue regularly? And don't provide that ground for this passive aggressive thingy.
Yeah.
And I wish more people would see like that.
It's really hard to sorry.
God bless you.
It's really hard to change a community the way you explain, I think, especially the Cardano community, because it is one of the biggest communities in the crypto space. And we also seen so much FUDs over the years that it's so hard. And I don't have the answers on how we should do it. all I can do is come with suggestions, and hopefully someone will listen and take it to mind. But still, it's also feelings. People have a financial incentive to try and stop the FUD, and this kind of also builds into this aggression. So
I think a good metaphor would be sports, like women in sports or women in general in science, people of different colors, where history said or proclaimed women are not able to learn properly because the head would explode or whatever, right? They're not able to grasp this, right? People of color are not able to learn this because they're so close to the apes still. And most of them, because they didn't have another choice, were quietly doing it and proving everybody wrong. And at the right times, standing up and saying, yes, but here I am. And this is proof that it's working. And if we all claim that we're coming from a scientific blockchain or a scientific background, being triggered by that to vote for this chain, for this blockchain and this community, then maybe we should be able to adapt to this part a bit more and take the lessons from the history and not just run out there and be the opposite of what we actually want to be. So I don't know how to solve this either. I just know that in my environment, I will always go forward with this, and I see that in your Discord as well. You, despite all the fun that you have in there, you're also scratching the difficult topics, and always with a grain of salt and nicely discussed. But then after 3 or 4 posts, you're returning back to the fun part. I think you're doing extremely well with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you would go for a DRAP, I think I would be one of your supporters. So
thank you. Yeah, I guess I'll see what we're going to do there.
Yeah. So with that, I would say we're hopping into the Good Friday. How do you what is your suggestion when we talk about marketing? What would you sorry. What is your take on the marketing side? Do you think we should increase it, or do you think we should just remain and say, no, technology will prove in the end?
Oh, I suck at marketing. It's just, it's for me, it's so hard to answer. I think yes to more marketing, but no to Twitter ads. I really don't believe that's the way to go.
I think
it's a tough question as well, because if we want to do more marketing, we have to do it properly and not be like just this other crypto Twitter ad or Reddit ad. It would be cool to do more stands on big crypto events, send community send community members to crypto conferences where they can do a talk, more workshops, because I think maybe we should spend funding towards the community and strengthen the community and drag people that's more on the sideline, figure out to drag them more in. Because the best marketing, I think, is us. It's you and me, the individual ADA holder. Since I started in the crypto space since I've bought my first ADA in 2018. I think I managed to not drag at least 10 people into buying ADA. It's because I really don't want to make people buy to be a shiller, and then everything goes to shit and I lose friends. I just naturally got people in because I've been like talking a bit about crypto, and they showed interest, and it's just been a natural way. And then they ask, okay, what should I buy? And I say, well, I only own ADA because that's the only project I actually believe in, and that's what I also invest my time in. So I suggest you buy ADA with money you can afford to lose. And this is me as one person, but at least 10 people have bought ADA because of I am a hardcore Cardano fan. So yeah, I think maybe investment in the community, make it stronger, and somehow trying to make the ADA holders more active in promoting ADA. I think that would be a more natural way to go for.
I think convincing founders. I would even argue the retail investor is less important than the founders, because the founders, if we can convince founders to on regular fairs to say, okay, look, this is what you can do with blockchain, this is what we have built with blockchain, and then going on the regular fair and saying, oh, and yeah, for example, we run this on Cardano, you could also run this on another chain, but this is why we choose it. Then a founder might be able to say, okay, oh yeah, that makes sense. By the way, I have 3,000 customers at hand, or I'm planning to get my next 3,000 customer within a year or so. And then this comes more in a natural way, rather than us telling the people, okay, this is what I should do. However, what you do is a retirement strategy, for example, right? Or whatever you think, or whatever you argue, it is to buy ADA. I think, yeah, I think founders are the way to do this, because in the end, if we only have retail investors, we don't have a use case. We only trade DeFi for DeFi, for the sake of DeFi, but we don't create value. And I think
that's a really good point.
And I said yesterday, the good thing about Cardano is it's boring. It's boring as fuck. We're mostly boring people and that's meant in a good way. I like boring. That's where the value usually comes from. The boring part is usually the hard part. You have some enthusiasts that enjoy the boring part, like, because it's difficult, it's hard to solve, which authority is not interested in.
Yeah,
because they think it's boring.
Do you follow FIresidechat on Twitter or X?
Santoshi? Yeah, to be honest, if before you ask me, the thing I do on Twitter is scroll, and then I see, like, maybe I read the first 2 posts that are in my timeline, and I spend not much more than 5 minutes on it, and then I go away. So Santoshi is not so often on my timeline. I see him.
Yeah. But my point is, though, is that one of the first articles he wrote touched exactly what you're talking here. The title was, if I remember correctly, Cardano is not sexy. And then you read the article and go forth and says all the value creation, like important stuff that happens in the world, has never been sexy or attractive. It's and that there is Cardano, and that's also why I like it so much, because it's so honest. It's not trying to to be more than it actually is.
Yeah.
When comparing to other projects, like promising, we are doing 1 million TPS, and then you're sitting there like, yeah, you're saying it's 1 million TPS. Maybe it's in theory on super centralized servers, and you're only saying this because that's the new sexy in crypto. You want high TPS for the ability to high adoption. High adoption means more people buy it, and so on, so on, so on. Cardano is just honest. It's no bullshit. And that, unfortunately, also makes it boring.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, but for me, my values, honesty is so important for me, and fairness, and that is Cardano. And I don't see that often in the crypto, in crypto Twitter. So
that's very true.
That's why I'm all Cardano.
For everybody who's watching, Bjarne has a really strong cold. He's not starting to cry at the
Yeah.
It's like it sounded like
I'm so really sorry. I'm probably this. It's probably horrible to listen to, but
no, absolutely not. But just now, if you know it, then you know why your voice is getting there, and like you're really fighting. But if you don't know it, it's like, okay, now Bjarne is getting really emotional.
It's a bit emotion though. It is a bit emotion because I've been throwing a lot of hours into the SPO role and also the SIP 1694 workshops. So I really care about Cardano because I care about a fair world. That everyone is treated equally, and I feel Cardano is like this. So yeah, it's a bit emotion, but mostly a code.
But if we're at it, I think we have in Cardano still like the same issue that we have everywhere in crypto and have everywhere in the traditional world. That we have people coming into crypto and proclaiming we want to change the world, but actually they've just been first movers or using their big fiat bags or the the crypto bags, and then taking a big share of manipulating supply, and then placing traditional world into the space that actually should change the world.
Yeah.
You see it like that too? I see it like that.
Yeah. It's the same. For example, it's just, okay, take a sample though. If more now, like the newest hot is proof of stake, like in certain terms of the consensus algorithm. But what's the point to have a proof of stake if 70% of the supply is owned by a few entities? It's not decentralized anymore.
Yeah.
And that's something you see across the entire line. I mean, what's the point? It's the traditional finance all over again, wrapped in blockchain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't buy it.
Yeah. Same here. And I said yesterday, the hopes that I have is that technology will help us to at least cover a little piece to make it a bit more fairer, the world more fairer. I don't think it's going to change the world for everybody.
No, definitely not.
But I think we can use the technology, and that's what we need good people for, to at least change the world a little bit for the better. And I think that's a good thing to conclude for today. Thank you for being here again. And
thank you for hosting.
Yeah,
it's always been fun.
Absolutely.